By now, I'm sure you know Taylor Swift and the phenomenon known as the Taylor Swift effect. But what magical elements create this effect, and what is the psychology behind it? Well, in today's video, I am going to discuss the powerful equation that creates the Taylor Swift effect, discuss 4 celebrity case studies that benefit from it, and how you can work this effect in your favor. Let's get into it. Hi, my name is Tammy and welcome back to my channel. As some of you know, I am an actress, time traveler, and I have a background in behavioral psychology. So continuing on with my Pretty Privilege and Desirability series, I thought that this would be a good topic to add to it. So today we are going to discuss the Taylor Swift effect. So first of all, what is the Taylor Swift effect? It has been defined as the consumerist phenomenon of participating in or purchasing anything related to Taylor Swift. So basically, there is engagement, influence, and purchasing power with anything that has Taylor Swift attached to it. So it has also been defined as social contagion with a significant global economic impact. It has also been shown that Taylor Swift's appeal has gone beyond music, influencing travel, hospitality, and sports. The most recent example of this would be Taylor Swift's involvement in this year's Super Bowl. Taylor Swift is dating Travis Kelce, a tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs. And as you know, the Kansas City Chiefs won the Super Bowl this year and last year. So with Taylor's involvement with Travis leading up to the Super Bowl, Taylor was spotted at several sporting events, NFL football games, and of course she was at this year's Super Bowl. And it created a huge buzz, so much so that people started to complain or make mention of the NFL broadcast showing, speaking about, and focusing more on Taylor Swift than the actual players and the game. So how did Taylor Swift affect this year's Super Bowl? Well, it drew in a reported 123.7 million viewers, the most watched Super Bowl yet. It drew in a bigger number of non-football watching fans. In women ages 18 to 24, this year's Super Bowl viewership was up 24% from last year. In girls ages 12 to 17, this year's viewership was up 11% from last year. And women and men ages 18 to 24 and girls ages 12 to 17 combined accounted for nearly 2 million more viewers for this year's Super Bowl versus last year's. Also, Travis Kelce's jersey sales saw a 400% spike after he was rumored to be dating Taylor Swift. And just to add this in there, Kelce's mom gained a State Farm ad with Ryan Reynolds' marketing company shortly after she was filmed sitting next to Taylor during a game. Convinced yet? So what is the equation or the factors that make up the Taylor Swift effect? Well, I have been studying Taylor for years, and recently for this video, I went through Taylor's entire music catalog. I studied her interviews, and I reviewed trends involving Taylor Swift. And these are the 4 major components that I came up with. So number 1, a humble and unsuspecting beauty. Number 2, a withstanding and talented resume. Number 3, an unwarranted, cruel, or controversial event. And number 4, empathy. So to break down these components, let's start with our first case study, obviously none other than Taylor Swift herself. So number 1, a humble and unsuspecting beauty. Taylor Swift is an American singer-songwriter from West Reading, Pennsylvania, who began her professional songwriting career at the age of 14. At the age of 9, Swift became interested in musical theater and performed in many productions. She also traveled regularly to New York City for vocal and acting lessons. Swift later shifted her focus towards country music, inspired by Shania Twain's songs, which made her want to just run around the block 4 times and daydream about everything. She spent weekends performing at local festivals and events, and after watching a documentary about Faith Hill, Swift felt that she needed to move to Tennessee to pursue a career in music. She traveled there with her mother at the age of 11 to visit record labels and submitted demo tapes of Dolly Parton and Dixie Chicks karaoke covers. Initially, she was rejected. So quoted, she says, "So I kept thinking to myself, I needed to figure out a way to be different." From there, she spent summers in New Jersey until she was 14 years old, performing in a local coffee shop. When she was around 12 years old, she learned to play the guitar from a local musician named Ronnie Kramer, which led her to write one of her first songs, Lucky You. At age 13, she was given an artist development deal from RCA Records, which led her and her family to relocate to Hendersonville, Tennessee. In Nashville, Swift worked with many experienced songwriters, where she would meet them for 2-hour writing sessions every Tuesday after school, in which she would just write about what happened at school that day. The writers also praised Taylor for her incredible hooks and storytelling ability, and she went on to be one of the youngest artists to be signed by Sony ATV Publishing Treehouse, but later ended up leaving due to the label's lack of care and not wanting to be shelved. She stated, "I genuinely felt that I was running out of time. I wanted to capture these years of my life on an album while they still represented what I was going through." At an industry showcase at Nashville's Bluebird Cafe in 2005, Swift caught the attention of an industry executive, Scott Borchett, who was preparing to form an independent record label, Big Machine Records. She began working on her self-titled debut album, in which she wrote or co-wrote all the album tracks. Released in October 2006, Taylor Swift peaked at number 5 on the US Billboard 200, on which it spent 157 weeks, the longest stay on the chart by any release in the US in the 2000s decade. Swift became the first female country music artist to write or co-write every track on a US Platinum certified debut album. Borchetta said that although record industry peers initially disapproved of him signing a 15-year-old singer-songwriter, Swift tapped into a previously unknown market, teenage girls who listen to country music. Things really started to jump off for Taylor Swift after she released the song Tim McGraw, and then 4 more singles were released throughout 2007 and 2008, Teardrops on My Guitar, Our Song, Picture to Burn, and Should Have Said No, garnering Swift popularity on mainstream radio and pop charts, accolades and awards from Academy of Country Music Awards, American Music Awards, and the Grammys. And the rest is history. So going back to our first component, a humble and unsuspecting beauty. So here we have this young all-American girl from Pennsylvania who became interested in musical theater and writing, who was inspired by these country artists, who spent her childhood performing in coffee shops, festivals, and events, who eventually moved to Tennessee and began working on her craft, who just wanted to write about the things that she was going through as a child, her day-to-day experiences. So you can see her branding was already starting to form, which is one of a wholesome girl following her dreams. Taylor gives innocence and wistfulness, which means showing or evoking a sad longing for an often idealized past. She definitely gives off girl next door or the cool, polite kid that parents would not mind their child being friends with. When I think about Taylor Swift, especially at the beginning of her career, I immediately visualize a girl with a side braid with flyaways all over her face, sitting on her bedroom floor playing her guitar. And that image gives very much humble and unsuspecting. Number 2, a outstanding and talented resume. Now, why is this component important? Well, think about it like this. It's kind of when someone goes viral on social media, but it's just a one-off video. The video has nothing to do with their brand, has nothing to do with them. It's just a video that they put up, and it just happened to go viral. So when the video goes viral and people run to their page to see what else do they have, they either have nothing or a lot of different videos that have nothing to do with the video that goes viral, versus a person that goes viral on social media but have a library of great content and content that also pertains to the content that went viral. With this person, their videos are all on brand, and you say to yourself, where has this creator been all my life? How have I not known about this creator? It's like you found a hidden treasure, and essentially you did find a hidden treasure. These are the people that you give an instant follow to because they don't just have a one-off video, they have a collection of great, valuable content. And that is why it is important to have a withstanding and talented resume. And Taylor has had just that for a very long time. She has been very consistent. Since her first album in 2006, Taylor has put out an album almost every 2 years. So just to take a look. So she released Taylor Swift in 2006, Fearless in 2008, Speak Now 2010, 1989 in 2014, Reputation in 2017, Lover in 2019, Evermore in 2020, Red, Taylor's version in 2021, Fearless, Taylor's version also in 2021, Midnights in 2022, and 1989, Taylor's version in 2023. This is very impressive because a lot of musical artists get caught up in the fame of it all and the music goes by the wayside. You can see that she is clearly dedicated to her art. I mean, we're talking about someone who has been writing and crafting music since she was a child, and she can also play instruments. She can play the guitar, the electric guitar, piano, ukulele, and banjo. Taylor is also known for reinventing her styles and aesthetics. For example, her album Red was a mix of country and pop, where she emphasized her love of vintage, with her looks wearing high-waisted shorts, 50s dresses, and her iconic red lip and bangs combo were all essentials of the Red era. And I just wanted to go back to Taylor's album Fearless in 2008. This album established her as a crossover artist with success of singles such as Love Story and You Belong With Me, which is one of my personal favorites. Fearless remains the most awarded album in country music history, including Album of the Year at the Grammy Awards in 2010. Her style for this album consisted of sparkly fringe dresses, ball gowns, and her signature Lucky Number 13 painted on the back of her hand. This period of her career is very important to note because it was right before the infamous moment with Kanye West in 2009. A lot of people give the Kanye West incident a lot of credit for why Taylor is so popular. Now, did it help to continue to propel her career? Yes. But did it make her career? No. Taylor was already very popular and had made a huge name for herself before the incident occurred. Taylor had already reached a high level of success and had created her own lane, and having that longevity creates a loyal fan base that grows with you. So make no mistake about it, Taylor was that girl before the infamous event happened. Which is why I reiterate, it is very important to have a withstanding and talented resume, because when those controversial moments or events happen, no one can look at your career and say, hey, he or she made you. If it wasn't for so-and-so, you wouldn't be as big as you are. They can look at your resume beforehand and see your extensive work so that you can get credit for your own hard work, which leads me to my third component, number 3, an unwarranted, cruel, or controversial event. So at the 2009 MTV VMA Music Awards, Taylor Swift won Best Female Video Award for the song You Belong With Me. And of course, we all know what happened. During Taylor's acceptance speech, Kanye West crashed the stage and said, and I quote, "I'm really happy for you. I'll let you finish. But Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time. One of the best videos of all time." And just like everyone else, whether you watched it live or watched the playback, this was so uncomfortable and no one knew what to do or say. It was gut-wrenching, unnecessary, and sad. And nothing compared to Taylor's face as she stood up there awkwardly. I mean, literally in the moment, like what was she supposed to do? Now, regardless of your opinion of who you felt should have won the award for Best Female Video, to see him rob her of her moment was very hard to watch. Even though I rewatched it recently to prepare for this video, it was still, to this day, very hard for me to watch. Mind you, Taylor was very excited about this win because she was a country singer, and you didn't see a lot of people her age winning in the country genre. So why is this an important component to the equation? Well, looking at the components before this one, Taylor is humble and wholesome, has a beautiful, hardworking resume, and then an unwarranted, meaning that this girl does not mess with anyone and she did not deserve what happened. So to have an unwarranted and controversial event, this causes people to instantly rally behind you and support you. Meaning if you weren't aware of her work, it made you want to go check it out. And if you were already a fan, it made you want to continue to support her even more and then go back and look at her work again. And if you weren't a fan, it made you want to go check out her work, and then a lot of people became instant fans. It made people want to see what all the fuss was about, giving her more visibility than what she already had. It brought attention and eyes to her. And like I was saying earlier about going viral, when you have a moment like this where all eyes are on you, you want to already have an extensive resume, because when the people come looking for you, they want to see your work. And I always say never try to go viral. Just work on your craft, work on yourself, put out great, valuable content, work hard, and be true to yourself. And if you happen to go viral, great, because the work has already been done. Your hard work will pay off and speak for itself. So Taylor Swift already had a strong fan base, and this just made it even stronger. And it tapped into probably the most important component of the equation. Number 4, empathy. Empathy is the deep and intense emotion that allows us to acknowledge a person's feelings and genuinely put ourselves in their shoes. We all could empathize with feeling embarrassed, heartbroken, put down, let down. We all could put ourselves in Taylor's shoes and get a sense of what it would feel like to have your moment snatched away from you in front of millions of people on live TV. And it also made us feel bad for her because she gives wholesome, sweet girl that doesn't bother anybody. So you sympathize with her, but most importantly, you empathized, which taps into one of Taylor's main branding points and the bond that she has created with her audience and her supporters. Taylor's brand is known for being relatable and intimate in a way that you feel like that you're her best friend or you want to be her best friend. From advocating for others, talking about her romantic and friendly relationships, to speaking about her insecurities, Taylor has made a career of writing these beautiful songs with simple but beautiful videos with great storytelling that appeals to the nice girl that never got to date her popular crush, or the nice girl that never got asked to the prom, or the nice girl that was always ignored that should have been the homecoming queen. She appeals to the underdog and that very sweet, tender side of us that has a sense of nostalgia, and she's a girl's girl. So for example, say you just got dumped by your boyfriend or a guy that you were dating. Taylor is that friend that would throw you a sleepover party where you could eat ice cream and cake and talk about it all night. She has that essence on lock. Her songs sound like personal diary entries and come across as very authentic. She's the girl, even as big as she is, still responds to her fans in the comment section. She's the girl that invited fans over to her house for baking cookies and dancing. She's the grounded, down-to-earth girl that loves her cats. Having the ability to create empathy and strong emotional connections with her fans is what Taylor Swift is known for, and is why she grew to be loved. And that emotional response is why they support her, follow her, and spend their money on her. Her fans don't just feel like they're watching a superstar on TV, they feel like they're watching their best friend that they root for, because that brand loyalty is what Taylor Swift built her career off of. So when the controversial event happened, it warranted so much more empathy on top of the empathy that her fans already felt for her. Taylor ranks high on all 4 components, which is why she is known for the phenomenon, the Taylor Swift effect. So now that we've talked about our obvious first case study, Taylor Swift, I want to give you 3 more examples of this type of effect on 3 different levels. So moving on to our second case study, number 2, Zendaya. So we know Zendaya for being a Disney starlet. Zendaya got her first big break with Disney for the role of Rocky Blue from the TV show Shake It Up. And I can remember in my household, my mother, my nieces and nephews, on the weekends, we would always watch Shake It Up. We would watch marathons of it. It was always just a cool, friendly family show. So from there, Zendaya went on to play Casey Cooper, a tech whiz and skilled black belt in the TV show Casey Undercover. So by age 14 or 15, Zendaya was already a household name. And also a music lover, she went on to release an album, and then she went on to do Dancing with the Stars, where she was runner-up. And in case you didn't know, Zendaya is also known for her fashion game. When Zendaya does the red carpet, Zendaya does the red carpet. She is known for slaying looks. She dresses to the nines. And there's also a cool story about how she became such a fashionista. She even said herself that her and her stylist talked about it, that she would just show up to these award shows, invited or not invited, and she would just make sure that she was just dressed like the best dressed type dressed. And she became known as the girl that slays the red carpets. So here we go again. We have this beautiful, talented, humble girl that can sing, dance, act, minding her own business. And then in 2015, on the night of the Oscars red carpet, there is a show called The Fashion Police, where they rate the celebrities' fashions as they walk the red carpet. Giuliana Rancic was a part of this show during this time, and when giving her opinion on Zendaya's look for the night, she stated that Zendaya's dress looked like they smelled of patchouli oil or weed. In response to this, Zendaya stated, "Someone said something about my hair at the Oscars that left me in awe. Not because I was relishing in rave outfit reviews, but because I was hit with ignorant slurs and pure disrespect. To say that an 18-year-old young woman with locks must smell of patchouli oil or weed is not only a large stereotype, but outrageously offensive. There is already a harsh criticism of African American hair in society without the help of ignorant people who choose to judge others based on the curl of their hair." So Giuliana's comment was out of pocket. It was offensive, and not only did it offend Zendaya, it offended an entire culture of people. And I've spoken about this in some of my other videos. As an African American woman, historically, we were taught to hate our hair and hide it. So for years, we really didn't understand our hair or how to take care of it. Our hair is very sacred and sensitive to us. Like I said, we were told and taught that our hair was ugly. And even nowadays, when we embrace our natural hair, we are still sometimes met with discrimination. So to see a young black girl with locks in her hair and someone make a racial comment about it was messed up, and it angered and saddened a lot of people. And the controversial event created empathy and put a spotlight on Zendaya. And because Zendaya had already had a beautiful work ethic and resume and was consistent after the fact, it propelled her career in a positive way. Now, Giuliana did apologize, and Zendaya was praised at how beautifully she responded to the situation, and she was sought after even more. She was even asked to be a part of Taylor Swift's music video, Bad Blood. And one thing I do want to point out about Taylor Swift and Zendaya, they both have a very young audience. That is a very big audience, and trust me, you don't want to mess with that fan base. And Zendaya was given her own Barbie doll that looked like her the night that she was on the red carpet with the locks and all. And Zendaya's career has continued to flourish, with her going on to star in movies like Spider-Man, Malcolm and Marie, Dune, and her hit HBO series Euphoria, where she portrays the beautiful catastrophe known as Rue. All I'm going to say is Euphoria, Season 2, Episode 5. Wow. beautiful work by Zendaya. And don't just go to the series and watch that one episode. Watch the prior season leading up to that episode to really get the full context of the character. Zendaya also has 2 Emmys for that role, making her the youngest person to win the Emmy for Best Actress in a Drama at just 24 years old. Moving on to our third case study, Ariadna Gutierrez. And I hope I said her first name correctly. So another example of this would be the Miss Universe pageant in 2015, when the host, Steve Harvey, accidentally announced Miss Colombia, Miss Gutierrez, as the winner and Miss Philippines as the runner-up, when in actuality it was supposed to be the other way around. So he announced Miss Colombia as the winner, but she was not the winner. And here you have on live television once again a very big embarrassing moment where you crown a beauty queen a winner and she is not the winner. And Steve Harvey on this live broadcast had to retract her crown and then apologize and then award Miss Philippines the real winner with the crown. So can you just imagine being on that stage? You have your country watching you, your family watching you, your friends watching you. And if you don't know, a lot of women that do beauty pageants, they start when they are very young and they work their way up to the top. So to be at the top of your game on stage at your very top moment and being told that you are the winner of the Miss Universe pageant and having it snatched right back. It's like someone telling you you won the lottery and saying, oh, a couple minutes later you didn't win the lottery, I was a number off. This person actually won the lottery. So just imagine just having to stand on that stage, going from the highest, happiest emotion to the lowest emotion in a matter of minutes, but still having to hold your composure. And for anyone that has done or does beauty pageants, it is an extreme sport. I did one beauty pageant and I saw what it takes firsthand, behind the scenes, on the stage, in front of the camera, what it takes to get to the point to be on that stage in high heels for hours. I will say it was a lot of hard work. And if you want to hear my story on that, I did make a video about it. I'll link that video in the description section. Now, before this, Miss Gutierrez had been working the pageant circuit. She was awarded Miss Sucre in 2014 and subsequently crowned as Miss Colombia in 2014, gaining the department's very first win at the Miss Colombia pageant. She also worked as a professional model. Now, although Steve Harvey did apologize and they have since reconciled, she did state in an interview that the experience was very humiliating and declared that the television producers handled the mistake poorly. Now, after this, Gutierrez appeared in the 2017 movie XXX Return of Xander Cage with actor Vin Diesel. She later took part in the first American season of the reality show Celebrity Big Brother, where she was runner-up, and she also went on to create a sunglasses line. So this is another moment where someone lost, but really won. She is now one of the most popular and remembered contestants in the Miss Universe history. And although she did not win the crown, she gained a lot of publicity, which equals money. She gained a lot of fame, and it kind of overshadowed the real winner, because for weeks, this is what everyone was talking about. So it brought her a lot of visibility and a lot of opportunities. And she even said herself, it completely changed her life. And last but not least, our fourth case study is Natasha Galkina, a Russian model that was on the season 8 of America's Next Top Model. Now, this season, or this contestant, was surrounded with a lot of controversy because a lot of the other models did not feel that Natasha was as good as them. But for some reason, she was still gaining a lot of positive attention from the judges and what some would call favoritism from the judges. So Natasha was always very humble in the house. She grew up with very humble beginnings. She was a mother of a child. She had married an older man, and she always talked about growing up humble and not having a lot of money. But she was always very gracious and funny and kind to the other girls, even when they were not so nice to her. So there's that humble, wholesome thing that we like. The controversy started when the girls started to notice that Natasha was not doing as good as them on the photo shoots and on the competitions, but she was still gaining favor from the judges. So it was presumed that the other girls in the house were starting to become very jealous of Natasha, so much so that they were not treating her very nice and they were ostracizing her. Now, mind you, this is a reality TV show. We know that a lot goes on that we don't see, but as a viewer, we can only go by what the producers show us. So from what we saw on TV, it looked like she was not being treated so nice by the other girls, and it did look like they were ostracizing her due to her popularity with the judges. So the judges caught wind of this, or they started to notice the different treatment that Natasha was getting from the girls, but this made the judges grow stronger towards Natasha. They championed her. They began to root her on. They began to motivate her, and they began to empathize with her, which is the opposite of what the other girls wanted or thought would happen. So it created that effect that we have this wholesome, nice girl being treated mean, and then people start to rally behind that person and root for that person. This became such an issue that in one episode, Tyra asked the other girls, the other contestants, of all the models here, which model do you not see being America's Next Top Model? And all of the models remaining stated that they do not see Natasha being America's Next Top Model. So it looked like they all banned against her. So when it was Natasha's turn and Tyra asked Natasha, why did all of the other girls state that they don't see you as America's Next Top Model? And Natasha stated one of the most popular quotes from this season: if Gisele Bündchen was behind me in this competition, I would also say that she should not be America's Next Top Model, alluding to the girls were just saying that because they felt threatened by her because she was competition. The judges found this charming and charismatic because by this time, Natasha had been known as that girl with positive energy. She had become known for that girl that would take a negative comment and flip it into a positive comment. She had become known for that girl that can take any negative situation and turn it into a positive. And the judges often praised her about this. So up until this point, Natasha had been building her resume with the judges of being positive, of being happy and the happy-go-lucky, of being someone that was wholesome and someone that was humble, but was getting treated badly by the other girls. So that foundation was already set so that when the girls started treating Natasha badly or ostracizing her and the judges took notice, they were already ready to go to bat for Natasha. But this all came to a head in one of the final episodes where the top 4 remaining girls were left, and Natasha was one of those girls. Now, prior to the deliberation, they had a photo shoot. And at this photo shoot, Natasha was very sick. I think she may have had the flu. She was very sick. So she performed poorly. Her pictures came out disastrous. So at deliberation, the other 3 girls, they just knew, this is it. We're finally going to get Natasha out of this competition. Her performance was bad. Her pictures were bad. There is no way that they're going to keep her in this competition over us. Lo and behold, when it came down to the last 2 girls, it was Natasha and another model. Tyra does her thing as usual. She pulls out the picture of the girl that is going to advance to the next round. And lo and behold, it is Natasha. In this episode, in this moment, all of the girls' mouths dropped to the floor. They could not believe that they had chosen Natasha over them. Natasha could not believe that she had been chosen over them. That is just how bad her performance was in the last photo shoot. And prior to, Natasha was not as strong as the other girls, but she just kept advancing. And Tyra said it was because they compared all of the girls' bodies of work, and Natasha's body of work was still stronger, and Natasha exuded a beauty within, and that the competition is just not about physical beauty. It is also about people that have stories and inner beauty. And that is how they justified Natasha advancing to the very last round. Now, I will say that even when the other girls were mean to Natasha, she was always very nice and kind and pleasant with them regardless. And that was very endearing. So the people at home rooted for Natasha too. What can I say? The effect works. Now, despite the challenges that Natasha faced, she made it to the final round, and although she didn't win the competition, she was runner-up on that season. So I know Natasha's story was a bit of a wild card, but I wanted to show you how this effect works in different scenarios on different levels. Now, what should you do if you find yourself in the Taylor Swift effect? Well, prior to, because you never know when a phenomenon like this will happen to you, prior to, you should work on your craft, work on yourself, be a good person, work on your character, so much so that if anyone tries to attack your character, your resume and reputation will speak for itself. And it will be very hard for someone to try to attack you or take you down. Also, remain humble and be a kind and good person so that when something great does happen for you, no one will have a problem rooting for you and supporting you. So much so that if a controversial event or a cruel event happens to you, people will have no problem empathizing with you and they will stand behind you. So if you have all those components and a Taylor Swift effect happens to you, ride the wave. Use it to propel yourself. Use it to propel your career. We never know when something great is going to happen. We just work as if we know that something great is going to happen. It kind of goes back to the saying that God draws near to a broken heart. And sometimes when these controversial or cruel things happen to you, the universe has a way of rewarding you and lifting you up. And I've always believed that when someone is talking bad about you, they're actually blessing you. Because when that does happen, watch how the universe flips things in your favor. And just to wrap it back up full circle with Taylor Swift Eras Tour is the highest grossing concert tour of all time by a female artist, as Taylor Swift has earned $4.1 billion from the Eras Tour, concerts, and film. She also set the record for a solo artist. Taylor Swift and this tour brought so much economic growth to the economy. Just think about it. People going to the concert, getting hotels, paying for food, paying for clothes. And whether you like Taylor Swift or not, or her music or not, the numbers do not lie. So in conclusion, what do you all think about the Taylor Swift effect? And which component do you find is the most crucial? Let's continue the conversation in the comments section. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.